Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. All right, this is going to be a reading on Trump court cases and judges and stuff. Okay, in the news, Donald Trump's appeal to remove Fani Willis from the Georgia election subversion case that or the state RICO charges he's facing, that appeal has been set for early October, which really, that's a surprise, but this could delay the Georgia RICO case to pass the election. It was kind of a pipe dream thinking that we could get that case before the election, and the fact that Judge McAfee has entertained some ridiculous accusations, and now the appeals board over there is going to listen to these accusations. You know, don't want to say the fix is in for Donald Trump, but the court system did him some huge favors. Let's just put it that way. Again, the bending over backwards to accommodate somebody who's done nothing in his lifetime to earn or deserve that accommodation. I can leave out the part about stealing elections in 2016. Because we don't have proof of that yet. We do know that there was Russian collusion, Russian conspiracy, and Russia and other entities worked very diligently to impact and affect that election. I'm wondering if we'll ever see if there were vote swapping too. Because, you know, when the Republicans accuse the Democrats of doing that, it's probably just projection. So we'll look in that one, see how that's going to look with the Fani Willis case. And the other is, and I don't remember if this was Glenn Kirshner or the Midas touch, but apparently the federal appeals court in Florida is no longer accepting complaints about Aileen Cannon after about 1,000 or more than 1,000 complaints were raised in a week about her delaying the cases and things along those lines. So they just announced they're not taking any more what looks like orchestrated complaints regarding Judge Cannon. So good job, everyone. Way to break their email system. It was a long shot, likely wasn't going to work anyways, but just in case the Florida Appeals Court was unaware of how the public felt on Judge Cannon's performance, they're aware now. Okay, so let's look at these two things and see what the energy is looking around. And we'll start with Fani Willis's case in Georgia. What's the energy around this appeals case happening in October? Entertainment purposes only. Yeah, justice is upside down. Okay. At the foundation is justice. I'm going to just shake my head off camera, which you can't see. But again, this is the justice system giving Donald Trump even more breaks than honestly he really deserves. Now, that being said, he's a 34-time felon. And we may not get another case before the election. The election isn't about the courts saving us. This is about us going out and voting. So you have your mission. And Brian Tyler Cohen was basically saying, if you know two people that don't vote often, but are like-minded, but don't vote, work on them and get them to commit to voting in this upcoming election. Okay? Come on down. This is about justice being served. And, you know, just more delays. And, you know, here comes the appeals court. Let's just push off this case a little bit more. Got to listen to the latest crazy theories that are out there. Now, the thing with the Four Wands is that could be welcoming somebody in, or it could be waving them goodbye. Now I have a question, and let's look underneath it. It's the King of Swords. That's like your Jack Smith-like energy underneath there. Now Jack Smith is not involved in this Georgia RICO case. And I'm going to get a lot of love in the comments, and I'll use love with air quotes because I've mentioned this a few times, and then people come on to correct me, and I don't need correcting on this. What I'm saying is factually accurate. You just need to listen to the words in the order they come in. And I'm not trying to talk down to you. I'm just trying to urge you to listen. I'm tired of reading the same comments. If Fani Willis was removed from this case, if the courts ordered her recused off of it, she goes and the whole district attorney's office goes with her. That is my understanding. That's been what's been reported in the news. I'm not a legal expert, but that's my understanding. Okay? We're all on the same page with this. If Fani Willis opts to step back and not be the face of the trial and let somebody else step forward, the case can continue with that same district attorney's office. And this is where the comments come. It's like, no, if she steps back, then it's removed. No, there's a difference between being told to leave and leaving voluntarily. Do you understand that? That's the point I'm driving home. There's a difference. If she voluntarily steps down, somebody else in her office can just pick up this case and prosecute it. And then we don't go through all this bull crap that we're doing now, waiting for this thing to come in October. Okay? The reason why I say that is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is, does Fani Willis stay on the case or does she leave voluntarily? Notice I did not say that she is disqualified from the case. Why did I say that? Because that's not going to happen. She hasn't done anything wrong to be disqualified from this case. So the district attorney's office being kicked out of there isn't going to happen. There are two other choices. She can voluntarily leave, or she can continue to prosecute this case. If she continues to prosecute this case, we will go through this hearing in October, and things will get delayed. If she volunteers to step back and not be the face of this case and let somebody else lead it, maybe we don't have to go through this court case because it's been resolved. Do you see what I'm saying? Why do I say that? That Four of Wands right there. That's saying goodbye to somebody or welcoming them in. So this could be her. She has a choice to make. Is she going to stay on the case or will she voluntarily leave? And she just needs to make the mature decision of what is best for this case. And by mature, what I mean is not the ego-based decision. Her ego might be like, you know what? This is my case. I've done the heavy lifting. I'm going to push this through. Nobody's going to tell me to get off this case. I'm going to prosecute it. I'm going to win, and I'm ready to move on. I'm not even throwing anything about accolades or future judgeships or anything along those lines. Just pure, this is my case. I'm driving through. Nobody's telling me what to do. That would be this kind of energy. The other could be, I want this case to go forward, and I want this thing started before the election. How do you do that? You step back and you let somebody else take it so that this controversy goes away, and then Trump's lawyers have to quick dream up another controversy on somebody else in the district attorney's office, and they may not have enough time. Okay? That's where I'm going with this. Sorry for the grumpiness. It just shows up in the comments. And it takes too long to respond to it. In the past, we have the Ace of Cups. Not only does David have strong feelings on this, Fani Willis has strong feelings on this too. Like I was saying, the woman's a boss. She knows she's got this. She's got this. She'll win this case every day of the week and twice on the weekends. She's got this. No problem whatsoever. And I'm sorry for folks that say I tap the cards and it's really loud. Sorry. It's emphasis. My energy level is now up to my throat again. I'm agitated. I'm officially agitated at this point. Current situation is the Queen of Wands. She gets to make the decision. The decision's not taken out of her hands. She gets to make the decision how she proceeds. She will not be removed from this case. I repeat, she will not be removed from this case. If she's not leading this case in the fall, it's because she voluntarily stepped down and let somebody else take it. If she is leading this case, she's got to go through an appeals process in October. She will win that, and then she will be able to proceed with this case. The question is, how soon do you want this case to go to the jury? Overarching energy, the Hierophant. This is the weapon. This is the weaponization of the judicial system against the district attorney. This is Trump weaponizing the judicial process to slow things down, to stop this woman from taking action that she passionately wants to do. But she has the option to work within this system to circumvent these challenges. The lesson to be learned is the Knight of Swords. A couple of different things. This is kind of like your knight in shining armor coming to your emotional rescue. All you Rolling Stone fans out there, just smile to yourselves. He's on a fine Arab charger. This could be Fani Willis feeling like, I've got to rush in and save this. It's my job. Now, how do you rush in and save it? And what are you saving? If you want to save the case and you stay on it, well, then she's going to fight this thing. And she's going to fight it like a boss. Or she could say, I'm going to step down. I'm going to let somebody else lead this case. Some young buck, lead that. Let them come charging in. And now let's see what you're going to do. You're so worried about the Queen of Wands, you turned your back on the Knight of Swords. The outcome is the Empress. Either way, this is going to work out. This could be her taking a step back, saying, fine, I'm going to let this one go. I trust that my district attorney's office is staffed with qualified personnel. I've got a hotshot knight here, hotshot lawyer, district attorney that can take this case no problem. I'm going to sit back and watch the fun. No, there's a mature decision on that. Or she could say, you know what? My case. I've done the work. I'm going to see this one through. In which case, this case is not going to move forward as swiftly. Now, exhaling. Does it matter? Right now it seems to matter because we're in June, early June, June 3rd of 2024. That's why it seems like it matters. Picture Donald Trump not being elected in November of 2024. Oh, you want to delay his RICO case another few months? Okay. We know it's still going forward. We know he's spending a ton of money on lawyers. Fine. He may die before this case comes to court. But you know what? It's like, how many people here would be okay with it? Okay, yeah, the courts didn't get him. He died before the courts could get him. He's gone. You know what I mean? He's gone. And then you still have all these other co-conspirators who sold their soul to Donald Trump still facing prison time. A whole lot of them facing prison time. This is not a case of nobody going to prison, everybody gets off scot-free. We look at the pimple and not the hole underneath of what's going on in this situation. Yeah, we want Donald Trump to go to prison, sure, because he was the face of it. He's the reason why everybody was doing the bad behaviors. But in this case, if he's not a viable presidential candidate by the time everything's said and done, the anxiety's way down. Okay? So don't get too hung up over whether or not she decides to stay on it and it delays the case, or if she steps down and the case goes forward. Either one is going to work. And it's still, if this case starts before the trial, awesome. Great. The boost that we need. If it doesn't, Trump's not going to get elected. And in which case this trial will go forward. It doesn't matter how much he tries to delay it. He's not going anywhere except to prison. Okay. Switching gears. Let's ask. Okay, will Fani Willis step down? That's kind of the choice we left her with. We'll just do a little, we'll do the full spread here. Will Fani Willis step down? This thing is her baby. This case is mine. I gave birth to this case. I raised this case. I've bounced this case on my knee. I've had interrupted sleep because of this case. I'm not going to throw in I'll throw on the line. I took this case into this world, and I can take this case out. No, but it's her case. It means a lot to her. It's a very dear case to her. And she has really strong, passionate feelings about it. And she doesn't want to have to give this case to somebody else. This is hers. This is her baby. And she's being asked that maybe it's better that you give up this case to somebody else. She doesn't want to do it. I don't blame her. She's done the heavy lifting on this. She wants the accolades that go with it. Page of Wands in the past. I've done the legwork. I've led the expedition on this case. I've gotten several confessions and people pleading guilty to charges. I've got my witnesses lined up, ready to go, all telling us how this election subversion case in Georgia and the RICO statutes around it have panned out. Current situation is judgment. But here's the thing. Yeah, it's your case. Yeah, you feel strongly about it. Yeah, you've done all the legwork on it. Do you want this case? What she has to decide is, does she want this case before the American people prior to the election? Yes or no? That's her choice. That's the choice she's facing. Do you want it before the American people? Yes or no? And if you want it before the American people, do you have somebody who is capable to lead this case to a conviction? Yes or no? Those are like the two choices she has. If she basically has no faith in the folks in her district attorney's office, then the answer is going to be no, I'm doing it myself. Now, having said that, what do you think the probability is she has no faith in the people underneath her to do it? She wouldn't have been a good... You should have gotten rid of that talent. If the talent's not measuring up, you need to get talent that measures up. So what does that mean? I strongly suspect there are people more than capable enough to handle this case. So now it's down to ego. Overarching energy. Knight of Pentacles. I think she's really thinking about moving this case along to somebody else. Right now, if I was a betting man, I'm leaning with this. Now that we have this appeal date coming up, she's going to consider handing off this case to somebody different. The lesson to be learned, just like in the previous spot over here, the Queen of Wands, nobody tells this queen when to make her choice. She led the parade. She's calling the shots. If she's going to have the Knight of Swords, or in this case, the Knight of Pentacles, a mercenary come in and do it, it's going to be her choice. Nobody's taking this choice away from her. No one. This is her choice and her choice alone. Outcome, disappointment, betrayal. I think she's going to let this case go. I think for her, the vibe I'm getting with this is that it's more important to her to get this case moving forward. Because even if you get through this appeal, what else are they going to pull out of the woodwork on you? Or you can back off, let somebody else take it. It's not fair that you don't get your glory with this. It really isn't. She's done the work. She deserves to have that. But for whatever reason, free will and all that, it looks like I would guess she's going to hand it off. This card is like, darn it, I wanted this one. And it breaks my heart to have to give it up. That makes more sense to me than saying, it breaks my heart that I don't get to have this case before the election. If there was no election coming on, she's not going anywhere, man. Go ahead. Do your worst. I'll still be here. And when she gets that conviction, it's going to feel so good. Okay, so that's Fani Willis. Now, Florida Appeals Court. What's the matter? You don't like people paying attention that Judge Cannon is acting in a corrupt and biased manner? Not bothering you at all, huh? How convenient. Of course, I didn't. That's not what they said. They just said, well, these things look like basically what they're saying is it looks like a spam campaign. Everybody using the same title and the same body language, body of the email. So it's clearly been an orchestrated event, and that's why they're not taking more complaints if it looks like it's an orchestrated complaint. Okay? So let's look at the energy around the appeals court. What's going on with them? Queen of Cups. They're trying to keep a handle on things. Trying to keep things under wraps. Is that good or bad? Or is this Judge Cannon trying to keep things under wraps? We've got more things coming. To me, this is more Judge Cannon. She's trying to keep secrets. She's trying to keep this case under wraps. And I've said, yeah, I'll have to do an overlaid reading here because this could be the appeals court too. I'll read it as Judge Cannon. I'll come back and read it as the appeals court. Judge Cannon, in a previous reading, I was saying she's getting annoyed by Trump, just like William Barr got annoyed by Trump. Because by postponing this case indefinitely, and now, there's this whole hearing about the FBI raid at Mar-a-Lago, and they were going to murder and assassinate President Trump there. She's like, told Donald Trump to acknowledge Jack Smith's updated gag order and gave him like a week or 2 weeks to verbally update it. Then another week on top of that to file a written response to it, and then she'll set up a court date like a month or 6 weeks after that. She's going to push this thing out to July. Again, the readings I did with my brother and the readings I've done on this are basically she's kicking this can down the road as far as she can. Her job is to prevent this case from coming to trial before the election, much like the Georgia case. And there's that vibe of I've got one more thing to do. One more task I need to do, and I can get this case past. November. And underneath it all is the Two of Swords, the decisions that need to be made. That's why I still need to read on the appeals court, because this could also be the appeals court having to make a decision here. Okay, but Judge Cannon's annoyed at Trump because she's trying to get this. She's trying to work with him and keep things on the down low to kick this thing down past the election, and he keeps being a giant idiot. And saying that he's going to be assassinated. It makes life really difficult on her to keep working for him. I was hearing something about it must have been Midas Touch, because she rejected Jack Smith's claim without prejudice. That could still be an electronic order, a verbal order. If she had rejected it with prejudice, that would count as a substantive disorder, which could then be appealed. Okay? So you can see that by just that simple thing saying, I reject this without prejudice, you can refile it again. It kicks the can down the road, and Jack Smith cannot appeal this on its own. In the past, we've got the Tower card here. Things crashing down. To me, this is just the legal norms in the court system in her court just being... It's a mess. It is a giant mess, and it's there for everybody to see. So much for the pillars of... the legal pillars in Florida in her courtroom. Current situation... The Two of Coins. How do I keep these coins in the air? How do I keep these balls in the air? How do I keep from Judge Cannon's point of view, how do I keep from making a decision? How do I keep these balls up here? Because if I drop one of these balls, then it can be appealed. So you just have to keep everything up in the air. I don't know when this next court date's going to be. I don't know when I can schedule this trial. Just keep things non-committed. Overarching energy is that Two of Cups. It's definitely benefiting Trump. There's an agreement here. Again, we talk about the Heritage Foundation, stuff like that. This isn't the defense team and the prosecution coming together or anything along those lines. There's just flat out corruption going on with this. Entertainment purposes only. She's under a lot of stress, though. She is under a metric crap ton of stress, especially, I think, because you've had all these emails coming in asking her to be removed. Because all eyes are on her. She doesn't want eyes on her. She wants to be working on the down low, and everybody is seeing what she's doing. This is destroying her reputation. This is going to destroy her career. It's in the toilet. A job she shouldn't have had in the first place because she's not qualified, and she's being put on a very, very public stage with a bunch of people who are paying attention to it. The outcome is the Seven of Swords. We can see she's trying to get away with it. We can see that she's trying to just push this thing off. It's really obvious that there's corruption in this case. Now, I said I was going to do a layered reading here. Let's look at the appeals court. The appeals court, the Queen of Cups. Looking at Judge Cannon, trying to determine, they can't really do anything because she hasn't done much that's appealable, but, they're being inundated by people reaching out to them saying, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And they're just sitting there getting beaten up because they don't know what they can do. They're kind of tied up by the legal system. They're supposed to be fair and balanced, but they can see that what's happening is not fair and balanced, but they're tied. Their hands are tied as to they're limited in what they can do. They can see that this case is a massive shit show. And they can see that Judge Cannon is either really incompetent and not up for the job, or she's really corrupt, and it's putting a black mark on Florida's judicial system. They're contemplating what actions they can take against her. It's like there's not much they can do. They don't want to be swarmed by thousands of emails. Yeah, we already were paying attention. This isn't helping. But, in some ways it is helping because you're applying pressure to her and you're applying pressure to them. And if you apply enough pressure for them to get that pressure off, they need to come up with some type of agreement. They need to come up with some way of controlling this person and bringing her into line with what's expected of a judge. Having a talking with her. The lesson to be learned is the Ace of Cups. Everybody in this thing is under a pressure cooker. Absolutely everybody. I do think she's worried about, at this point, could she lose her bar license? I don't know how this works when you're a judge. A lawyer, sure. But with a judge, there's a lot of anxiety with her as a judge because they can see she's cheating the system. They see exactly what she's doing. They're not dumb. They're not oblivious to it. They see what she's doing, but their hands are a little bit tied. She hasn't made a mistake yet that can be appealed. I do think that if Jack Smith does get an appeal on her, that Two of Cups and that Two of Coins is going to say, yeah, we're getting rid of her. We're asking her to step down. And maybe that Ace of Cups on that one is they could talk to her saying, we want you to recuse yourself. Maybe even if they don't, I don't know if they legally could talk to her behind the scenes, from a political sense type of thing. Kind of the picture of the TV show. I can't really rule on this, but speaking to you as a friend, you're corrupt as You need to just step down, or else. Dot, dot, dot. So what do we got? Not much happening with Judge Cannon. Well, let's see. For Carter, will they ask her to step down? Will there be some subtle hinting going on Judge Cannon, asking her to step down? Two of Wands. That's the same card I got for her when she first had this case. Two of Wands. Planning. Disappointment. The Lover's card. Ace of Swords. Two of Cups. I don't think they're going to ask her to step down outside of it. I think more what's going to happen is if Jack Smith finally gets something that he can bring before them, it's going to give them the opportunity to... This is the opportunity. It's going to give them the opportunity to remove somebody whose performance has been disappointing for the benefit of the public and the court system, in the legal practice and stuff like that. It's like she's done her job. It's like she's done her job for the Federalist Society. She's done her job for Donald Trump. The Republicans are happy. To me, what that's saying is that this case likely will not go to trial before the elections. And you know what it could also be? If by November she hasn't recused herself and Trump loses the election, she'll step down at that point. She's done her job. You know what I mean? She has, or even she could be stepping down before that. So long as she hits some checkpoint where there's no way that case can happen before November, she may step down voluntarily at that point. That's kind of what it looks like with that Two of Wands. It's like, I can just make it. I can just make it. If I just go a little bit further, I can get there. The Lover's card, I meet my obligation. Five of Cups, I have been battered and bruised and I've been outed. Ace of Swords, but I've been the champion for Donald Trump and I got this thing past the election and now it's up to him to get elected and get these charges dismissed or withdrawn. That's kind of the vibe that I got going on with this. Is that satisfying? No. But that's kind of where we're at right now with our legal system. Fani Willis, is that satisfying? No, it isn't. But that's where we are with our legal system. She can stay on the case and it's going to be delayed. She can take a step back, let somebody else take over. It'll probably proceed much more quickly. But she will not be removed from this case. She is not being removed. Very plain and simple. Okay? And it looks like with Judge Cannon, that doesn't... I mean, she could be removed, but it really depends. I think if she can keep kicking the can down the road to the point where there's no way if they put a replacement judge that they can get through all the things they need to get through to get this court case started before November, she'll leave on her own terms at that point. Okay? We'll leave it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. If you like this video, check out Twin Tarot with Gary and David. Or if you like International Tarot, check out Tarot of the Seven Seas, my other two channels. Links in the description. Thank you for all your comments, your likes, your shares, everything you do that helps feed the algorithm and helps this video make it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.